So let's get into having these big conversations. So I guess something that I ponder a lot, and I've just recently started having conversations with people is, what are we here for? And this is like a huge question that I guess a lot of us do ponder, but a lot of us do suppress because we have that fear of asking other people about this question because we have such shallow connections with a lot of people these day and age, which is quite unfortunate because when you get into the old, I guess even a few generations ago, which is probably 100 years, was not that long ago, the conversations that I used to have, in depth, are like, what are we here for, about religion and all this stuff. And since science has become this big thing, that we kind of lost this context because we think science is going to have all the answers, so we don't want to ponder or think outside the box and any further than our daily lives. So, and by saying this, it's like, what is the meaning of life? And there's someone actually commented this on my status, which was actually quite useful, which I love this comment. It's like, well, life is meaningless, so then gives you the ability to create meaning, as much meaning as you want. And by actually saying it's meaningless is actually a meaning in itself. So it's kind of, the polarity of things. But, what are we here for? We're here for, you're here for to create your own meaning out of life. You have the ability to do that, which is quite fascinating and quite cool. And, you have the ups and downs of everything, which, the law of polarities, you're good and evil, the same thing in the same, breath. If you look at every situation, there's good and bad in it. But is this something that we don't want to talk about? We want to, take that step back, and not think too deeply. But in that same token, let's start having these deep conversations. Let's start building these deep connections back into society, because that's one thing we are missing a lot, is connection. And I'm not calling out anyone for doing this, for having not thinking deeply, because this is the way we've been conditioned. Like, best way to explain it. And one big conversations that I've been also having lately is like about dreams and all this stuff. And it's quite funny how similar people's dreams can be, or how vivid they can be, or how some of them come into real life, or they solve problems and a bunch of stuff. And we don't have these conversations normally. And I think it's like one part of our society, even though it's a small part, that we need to start bringing back in and having these deeper conversations, so it makes it easier to solve these world problems, because a lot of people have great ideas and great solutions to these things, but aren't willing to speak up about it. And then by having these deep conversations, it also helps people to gain the confidence to start speaking up. So instead of saying, hey, how's your day going, or talking about the footy, which it's also very important to talk about that stuff as well. But asking, what's your thoughts on the meaning of life, to ask someone, just a random, and that. So, gonna end it with there.